acho que todo mundo ama, e se tem alguém que não ama, essa pessoa com certeza tá errada, né, gente? É inevitável, esse mundo é maravilhoso. E esse é o segundo jogo que a gente tem desse título maravilhoso, que é Sombras da Guerra. We have to decide things that are not easy.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think being creative with the Lord of the Rings canon is something that scares people.
Sure.
Was it really scary for you guys to do that?
Yeah, I mean, it was challenging. You know, it's something where we're such hardcore fans of the universe ourselves. You know, we love the professor's works. We've read through all of his books. We've read through his letters to his editor as well as a part of the kind of development process and research process. And so as we were walking into creating this brand new chapter in Middle-earth, you know, we knew it was important, just like with Shadow of Mordor, to stay as close to the core tenets of this possible, the key themes of this universe that make it so important, the key power structures that exist within it. And so a lot of it was making sure that no matter what we did, you know, as we looked at the stories we were most excited to tell and to provide the gameplay experiences that we were most excited to give to players with, you know, a new expanded Nemesis system, that it all absolutely made sense. You know, it was stuff that we had to root as close to the lore as humanly possible, and to the point where we even have a Tolkien scholar on staff. You know, her name's Janet Croft. She checks every single thing we do, and she's been an integral part of the development process. So it's certainly very challenging, but I think with the world so beloved for so many good reasons, it really should be. You know, it's something where we can never take it for granted. The fact that we have this almost opportunity, but in a lot of ways a responsibility to build something within this world.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was the hardest decision you as a producer had to make? Like the hardest one?
You know, it's tough.
Ride at night and just sit there in fetal position.
So many. No, it's tough because I think one of the things is, like, I was most involved with the Nemesis system, and as a, you know, in a writing capacity as well. And so I think one of the interesting things was, as we were looking into that system and trying to develop all these new kind of archetypes and new personalities and everything, there was certainly a lot where we, I think, as an entire team, you know, everyone in the entire studio was involved with the development of the Nemesis system. And you've got these meetings with character artists sitting next to producers, sitting next to writers, sitting next to the UI team, sitting next to the animators, sitting next to the developers. You know, yeah, it's this incredibly collaborative process where everyone really wants to bring a lot of their own great ideas in. And so I think it's a difficult process of deciding exactly where to point all of our attention, but also too, you know, when we're writing these personalities, like, what lines do we push? Like, which directions do we take these guys? Like, what directions do we point these guys? Like, you know, we have moments of levity within the world because we don't want the game just to be doom and gloom and darkness, but how does that make sense? You know, how is it that these foot soldiers in these incredibly unforgiving environments are able to have these moments of levity? Like, what about their personality can change? So I think there was a lot of little things, whereas we were kind of pointing the entire team in the right direction, that we probably had to leave some stuff on the floor that may be still rattling around in the back of our heads, but we were still able to do so much more this time around. You know, it was I think in a lot of ways, Shadow of War are all of our craziest, best, most ambitious ideas that we couldn't have done in Shadow of Mordor.
And I guess it's really hard to say no sometimes, because when you love the original story, the original world, and the game that much, it's gotta be really hard to say no sometimes. You just want to say yes all the time. Let's make the biggest game ever. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
What was the hardest no you had to say?
It was, you know, it's tough. I'm trying to think of one, admittedly, because I feel like in so many ways we were just able to build upon what was best about Shadow of Mordor. You know, like from the very beginning, our goal was just to make sure that we expanded on this game in every dimension. You know, we had this great combat system that we wanted to build upon, this amazing movement system that really let you get around the world and have a direct connection with every interaction you had in the game that we wanted to build upon. We wanted to build upon the Nemesis system and the world and the story and the wildlife and the ambient life, and even adding systems where the fire is going to spread. If you know, if a drake comes through and it lights an entire set of dry grass on fire, that fire is going to continue to spread. You know, everything we could do to bring this game to life was really just our focus. Yeah, you know, it was tough because I think we definitely probably had to say yes or no to some stuff. Like I'm having trouble thinking of one specifically, just because so much of our attention was spent on just building and expanding.
The Nemesis system caught the attention of some amazing people, like Ken Levine, the creator of BioShock.
Yeah, that was such a like to read that for all of us.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah.
How was that like? Because I think if I did something that Ken Levine liked, I think I would have like, yeah, let me just die here, because you know, from here on it's all down the hill.
Yeah, we were pretty close, but I think too was something where as you know, in many ways, to hear that from someone that we respect so much as a peer in a lot of ways too. You know, he's created so many games that all of us at the studio love so much and would talk about in the kitchen every single day at work. And after finishing up a game of soccer, when we're all sitting together drinking beer together, we would talk about our experiences in so many worlds that he was so integral to making. And so it was just, I think, rewarding for us as we were undertaking this new system, as we were trying to create something brand new, as we were trying to, you know, try to dig in deep and give players their own immersion stories, to make sure that, you know, from the very beginning, our hope was to make sure that the players would have their own unique experience every time they went through.
It's just amazing, because I guess everyone dreamed once or twice of having a game that you play in a completely different way, story mode, than your friend does, and you guys did that.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I know I'm not Ken Levine, but seriously,
it's a lot, honestly. You know, the thing is, this is exactly why we made it. You know, from the very beginning, as the community manager, to me, one of the most exciting things is whenever I'm digging through fan feedback, whether it's on our own official forums, whether it's people tweeting at us, whether it's people commenting on our Facebook page, going out to our official, like, incredibly, well, not official, they're their own subreddit community, and they let us hang out on their turf. So like we consider them their own official thing, because they, like, you know, we make sure that that's truly their community, and we don't meddle with it at all. We're not out there to change anything about what they're doing. And so to be in this position where every single time someone comes up to us and tells us about the game, it's always about their nemesis. It's always about some fortress assault. It's always about some pit fight that they had with an orc, you know? And to have that experience where it's truly your own, you know, because it all depends on your decisions and your experiences. You know, this time around, if you're on a fortress assault and you're going through and you're just charging into the enemy overlord's room and you're trying to take that last victory point, but then one of your guys is bleeding out back on the first point because he just got taken down by some archers, you've got a decision to make. Are you going to go save that guy? If you do, he's going to be more loyal. He's going to remember that. If you don't, he might cheat death. He might come back. He'll remember that fact. And it's like, it's just this whole set of experiences.
Decisions like real life.
Yep, exactly. And I think putting players in that position where, at least for me too, I've played countless hundreds of hours of Shadow of War at this point. Yeah, you know, it's great for me to go, every single playthrough for me is different. You know, I go over to my friend's house and watch them play, and their world looks totally different. Yeah, you know, you're watching someone live stream the game and looking at their, like, really sincere, excited reactions and just seeing how they react to the sandbox of destruction that we built for them. It's got to be the most rewarding thing to know that, you know, when every single team dedicates themselves to building a system like this, that no aspect of it is left on the cutting room floor.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's got to be really hard to mess with Lord of the Rings, so...
You know, it's a very inspiring place, so it's been a challenge, but one that we were thrilled to have the opportunity to undertake.
Well, as an RPG player, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's important to have games like that.
Of course, yeah.
E a gente vai ficando por aqui, que tem muito mais BGS para mostrar para vocês.